Any sailor worth his salt would tell you to plan ahead to navigate tide changes and potential headwinds. But the fact is, you can't plan for everything. In investment, just like in sailing, uncertainty is one of those things you need to consider when you're making any big decision. And it's that key theme of uncertainty that has dominated conversations over the last 2 days. From the state of the global economy to the Fed's next move, fund selectors put economic uncertainty at the top of their list of concerns during our voting session. Our first speaker, U.S. economist Doug Holt-Eakin, attempted to address some of these uncertainties and talked about the dangers of U.S. economic policy getting in the way of its growth engine.
We live in interesting times. The pace of global growth has been slowing and it's troubling. The U.S., which has been viewed as if not stellar, a solid engine for global growth, is in the near term going to have some stumbles, and that will probably trouble some people. Those stumbles may or may not be augmented by policy errors, debt ceiling, government shutdowns of the type that harm the household sector. All of that policy risk is crucial over the next 2 quarters. A lot of attention will be focused on the U.S. debt because of the debt ceiling. But the real challenge is 10 years from now, when we have $1 trillion deficit and 85% of it is interest on previous borrowing. So we're headed into a debt cycle, a big spiral that's dangerous. The only way to deal with that is to take on the spending. You can't tax your way out of a problem that big. You can't do nothing. And so big spending reforms, especially large federal health care programs, Medicare, Medicaid, Affordable Care Act, and retirement programs, Social Security.
I think that he highlighted in a proper way the debt ceiling issue. And I think that the market is not pricing this issue, and it will take a center stage in the coming months.
It's a little troubling and scary because we have a lot of trouble in the near future, but it's really good to know and start to thinking about these problems that we'll have in the future.
Having concrete data you can rely on may offer solace from the grips of uncertainty to some investors. But, as Citywire's Frank Talbot told us, you shouldn't take anything at face value. And knowing how to read fund flows and manage your track records can be crucial.
I think what our analysis has shown us is the key trend has been the gravitation of assets towards mixed assets. But on the other hand, I would argue there's a real risk that comes with that, because these mixed asset portfolios, however good they might seem, are highly correlated to the equity market. And that's probably not what equity investors want. What we know is that in areas where lots of money is going towards it, there are loads and loads of launches to cater for investor demand. But what people might not know is that almost half of fund managers given new launches have less than a year's experience. They are not proven talent, and that in itself is a risk.
I'm taking how the flows are moving, some paradigms that we sometimes have in our minds about some kind of products, some expectations we got on them. Well, he broke one of those today, so he definitely leave us some ideas to be thinking about.
Our final speaker of the event was world record-holding yachtswoman Dee Caffari. Having sailed around the world 5 times, both solo and in a team, she gave us her own take on how you analyze risk when your own safety depends on it, and how she deals with unexpected events.
In 2005, I set off to sail around the world what's considered the wrong way. So there was only 4 men that had ever done this, and there hadn't been a female to do it. And the biggest lesson I had to learn was that I had to concentrate my energies on doing something about the things I could control and not waste my energies worrying about the things I have no control over. I can't control the weather, I can't control the waves, I just have to deal with it. But I can control what I do. You're always going to make mistakes, something's always going to go wrong. But it's about minimizing those mistakes, adding up the risks involved to do something different against everybody else, and making sure that it's a worthwhile effort.
So while there's no magic 8-ball to predict the future, we really hope the last few days have helped clear up the fog and given you the tools to make better informed investment decisions.